As we were, getting into this here, let me refresh it on my end because I can definitely see y'all on my phone on the live stream. Give me one moment, y'all.
Shout out to the Texas CBD Fair Market for sure. We miss it.
Yeah.
The sun's moving on us.
Hemp tours in the house. I never know what to do. It's like, what do we do with our hands? We're live, but we don't know what to do.
This is why I always have a drink.
All right, can everybody hear me?
What'd she say?
All right,
a little pre-roll.
All right, so everyone's good to go. Okay, so what is?
Oh, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Now you can hear me?
I can hear you.
I know, but we can't hear.
You can't hear me? Let's see.
I mean, we can hear you.
I'm acting really live in front of people. I do miss seeing people too. It's so much easier, right?
It was so sad yesterday. We moved out. We're moving from downtown just because, it's not necessarily the safest place for an office right now. Everything's still closed. It looks like we don't know the situation, kind of how it's going to go. So our lease was up and we're going to find something even cooler. But it was so sad because Cynthia was there. We were so close.
6 feet away.
But...
No, we couldn't
get out of the car and touch each other. And little would we have known I looked up, it was February 20th, it was you, me, we were all there at the office, Nicole, and we're like, bye, see you tomorrow. And then personal things happened, then virus, and it was just like, nope, I guess that was it. That was the last day in our old downtown spot. So we're gonna miss that place, but we don't miss. It'll be nice to have a floor that's like level and not slightly tilted like this. So
they moved out right away, but a lot of people it's just too dangerous.
Yeah, for now.
Especially for all the girls working on it.
Oh, I forgot about the incident, but yes, that did happen down there.
Yeah.
So how is
you too, right? It wasn't Nicole.
Yeah, and the parking, everything. So we're super stoked when we get into our new spot. We're gonna have room for classes, basically more hands-on, where people will be able to come to us as well and get a structured education on hemp. So we love going out to the shops and all of these things, but we also want to educate on more than just CBD inside of hemp. So we're super stoked about it. We're looking for a good spot right now.
Oh yeah. And are y'all able to hear me yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all can hear me.
I can do. But yeah, we've been
okay. Cool. Sweet.
For the past year, we've also the girls have been building a hemp business builder program, and it's very difficult to work on that program when you're out doing tours all the time, and so it's kind of like, thank you, coronavirus. It gave us a chance to really, and that you guys are almost done building that whole thing. You already have courses on.
Yeah, we have courses out now at hempbusinessbuilder.com. We have our free intro to hemp course. Also on Hemp Tour's website that's designed for the consumer. Hemp Business Builder is really designed for retailers and brands. There's a lot of people that want to get into the industry and they maybe don't know how, or they're in the industry and now they're hiring new employees as they expand. And sometimes it's hard, to have time to just teach and educate. So we ended up dropping I think about 6 or 8 courses during the last 6 weeks.
Oh wow!
We still can't hear you. We hear Cynthia.
You hear Cynthia? Okay. Let me. So I want to do a super shout out because I can hear y'all perfectly fine. I can hear Cynthia. I can see everybody. Let me do a quick little shout out to everyone here. So Nathaniel, we got Cody from Idaho.
Is it a microphone?
They're gonna be on here later on today. They are from give me one moment. Where it is at here. So they're going to be Snake River Solace from Idaho, and they actually did the first dispensary in Idaho. So I saw an article.
Sorry, it's
and
frustrating.
it's okay. Give me one moment here. Let me see if I
We've
can.
been there.
And that was the day that Nicole wasn't there.
Yes.
You almost have to be a sound engineer, you know.
Yes.
All right,
We
Leah.
always have practice with Nicole.
All right, Leah. Can y'all hear me yet?
Can you hear
Y'all are
me,
not
Leah?
able to hear me yet, Leah.
Yeah, we hear you.
They hear me, but they can't hear you. You want me to be the middleman? I can totally be the translator. Go ahead.
Hey,
Go ahead. We'll make this work. I can
just
translate in a variety of
just
languages too.
let them know that
Okay, that's
the
true.
Cynthia,
We can
let
let
them know
you.
that they can let them know that I can the Facebook can see and hear
Okay, we
them.
love you.
Um,
Facebook can see you and hear you and everything. So to Facebook, it sounds great. And to me, we can hear you and see you, but you just cannot hear him, and he cannot. And
I
that's
can
it.
see them and I can hear
Yeah.
them.
Oh, he
So
can also hear and see you.
Oh, that's cool.
so
So for
it's
Okay,
some
we can.
reason,
Okay,
Why
it's
don't we let you two finish up since you can see and hear each other, and we'll
or
jump on and watch on Facebook.
just tell them to let them know where everyone can
hold
find
on
them,
and just
and
let him know where you can find it.
or where they
Him.
can find them online.
Hemp Tours, yeah, higheredhemptours.com. You can follow us on the gram at Hemp Tours,
Uh-huh.
Facebook, official Hemp Tours, and even LinkedIn.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna finish out here with you,
thank you so
Cynthia. Thank
much.
y'all so much, Hemp Tours, Leah, and Daniel, and I will talk to y'all soon.
Bye, guys.
All right, we'll see
See
y'all.
you later.
All right, Cynthia. So yes, so you're in education, and you are in education. So right now, when it comes to, so you're a teacher, right?
Yeah, so I actually am the director at an ESL school here in Austin. So
Mm-hmm.
they teach English to adults and Chinese Mandarin to children after school program. And so this has been here for a long time. I've been doing kind of the same thing around in Texas, all over the world. So that's kind of my background. And then moved back to Austin after I got my master's in education and wanted to continue the field but stay here.
Yeah.
And then that's where I met Leah and Daniel in Austin. And we kind of all just, became friends. And a couple of years ago, when I wanted to get out of being a director, it was kind of a lot of stress and a lot of stuff happening, and then not the fun part anymore since I wasn't really in the classroom
Yeah.
teaching anymore. It's a big difference. So yeah, so I got out of that, and Leah was kind of going through something similar with her career in the construction world. So we kind of were talking about like, hey, what do we both like? What do we like to do? What are we good about? And we started, learning more about hemp and cannabis through a deal, actually, or more of a business deal that Leah and Daniel got into. But it kind of just gave us an opening that, oh, this is going on in other states. And so for a good year, all we did was go to trade shows and expos and conferences to learn as much as we can. And then when we came back and said, okay, how can we make it into the space, and especially with
Mm-hmm.
like blurriness of lines and rules and guidelines of what can you do, and then also just our expertise. I was like, well, I would like to teach people about this,
Yeah.
yeah, we kind of put it together.
And so in the educational world, as far as I would think that to need students and just the stress levels in general with anything. Like even when I think of my sisters, right now, and them being homeschooled, and I think about how the teachers are like having to adapt to that normally didn't. And shout
Oh
out to uh, Adelina. She is the founder and therapist of Leafly Therapy. She just joined the chat here. So shout out to her. But prior to joining as far as hemp tours and different things like that, were you aware of hemp or cannabis? Were you an advocate or user or anything like that?
Oh yeah, like I think probably here after college, when I decided to travel around, I kind of just saw it everywhere. I saw it all over the world in different ways, uses, uh, just definitely different beliefs of it. Different cultures have a different mentality. And me coming from a Mexican culture, it was always just such a the worst thing you could ever do. So that's why, like, to me, it was always just no, don't try that. But you could get
Yeah.
all the time, that's okay. It kind of was a big eye opener, and then being able to, kind of share it with people and that experience, and said, oh, we can all smoke, and everybody's kind of, talking about it. It's not, we're getting messed up into it, it just opens a different conversation, I believe, rather than drinking or, and so I kind of started doing that with my friends and like hanging out with people, and then once getting to travel here in the United States where it's legal to go to a dispensary. You can't really still smoke it outside, but
Yeah.
I could take it back somewhere, and but just that feeling of, oh, it's okay to buy it. It's different here. And so going through all of those motions, I would say I've probably been an avid cannabis user for about 10 years now, 9 years. So yeah, but also I never really thought about it as in my educational field. I used it as a form of stress release for sure, and I didn't realize that I was doing that till later on when I started learning. I was like, oh, I understand now why I feel certain ways and think that, why I chose certain products. And especially once you start dealing about how to take it, what to take, the terpenes and the cannabinoids and how a bunch of things, the entourage effect and whether you're taking an isolate. And so all of these things just kind of made more sense to me. And I was like, oh, I would love to share this
Oh yeah.
and in a fun way, because teaching adults is just like teaching children. I mean, everybody's ADD. So even if you think you're not, yes, you can only stand to listen to something if it's not fun or interesting.
And you brought up a interesting point, especially when it came to cultures. And so as far as like in like the Hispanic culture, different things like that, when it comes to textiles or different things as far as like because I know that there's a lot, like Nepal has like a crazy crazy hemp wholesale, and so have you heard of anything as far as like in Mexico or anything like that, as far as like any presence in the hemp industry, whether in textiles or in concrete or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I think right now it's being looked at a lot more, especially because it has been decriminalized for a while, and so now it's kind of, I believe it was supposed to be in the legislation this year, but it's getting extended to December. And so a lot of it is, of course, focusing more on the CBD, hemp. I think they're trying to define it first, the main difference between hemp and marijuana, or just are they going to call it high THC, low THC? You know what? So that's kind of where they're at right now. But there's people that are selling products right now. There are people that are growing it. There are people that are using it. So not that it hasn't stopped people, but it
Oh
has at
yeah.
least made it, more feasible for it to become a legitimate business, especially when people start seeing it as a lifestyle. It's not. It's another type of business too. It's a plant
Oh yeah.
at the
You
end of
know,
the day.
and in the lifestyle, that's the one thing that I, try to look at, because when I look at patterns as far as like even just online, like you had mentioned before, as far as like the bridging, right now I feel like there definitely is a bridging between cultures as far as with the awareness of it, but also in these cultures that normally, wouldn't um there's a way that it's being displayed, but the culture that's actually engaging in it looks different. When you look at, as far as like the statistics, I think I was looking at some numbers yesterday, and it was like the demographic that gets the
Mm,
most CBD. They didn't put like in exact whether it was tinctures or not, but it was going to be males between the ages of 18 and 45.
how they
And I
use
thought
it.
that
Yeah.
was interesting, because you have a lot of that's the age as far as in the military. So you have a lot
That.
of people that are coming back, from deployment and different things like that. And whether they're traumatized through PTSD or they physically had something happen to them, I can
Yeah.
definitely see why that would be the top. But then we also have, women from the ages of 25 to 36, I want to say. And so
Mhm.
this is a big line as far as for health products, as far as skin care lines, and
Yeah.
and different things like that. And, one of the, Adelina, shout out to her again. When it comes to physical therapy, like I have a lot of friends that are massage therapists, and so I would love, I don't know if it exists, but I really think like a really cool massage CBD brand that's like
Oh,
strictly
there are.
for.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Hmm.
and it's true. I mean, I think right now it's it's one of those things that can really help a multitude of people in a multiple ways. And so, from veterans to even children and people that just it, all of it has to come with research, of course, and with more information, because that's the complete other end of the spectrum. That it's not really it fixes all
Yeah,
problems for everybody.
exactly.
So, we do have to admit that there are some holes and weaknesses and misinformation. And so it's not going to be just a blanket cover. Here you go, try this. You're going to be great because this is what happened to you before. So this is going to work. So
Right.
yeah, it's also, the mind is very powerful. And so people that do come in with a much more open mind, or at least want a curiosity, it is more interesting for them to say, oh, okay, no, that's that's gonna that really worked for me, or maybe this didn't work for me, but I'll try something else. Versus
Yeah.
somebody else that's just completely negative, also is gonna be like, no, it's not working for me, never, boom. But then again, depending on the product, there have been people that be like, wow, no, okay, it really helps, or I see it in my pet. I see it in something that really can't give you that placebo effect. So it's a combination of things, and we just
Oh.
have to acknowledge that too.
And I've been seeing a lot of research when it comes to the effects, on pets. Like that's been something very, very amazing, because sometimes, and I don't know, I maybe like in a past life I was like an animal trainer or something like that, but animals really love me, and I think that is so
Me
interesting as far as
too.
As far as seeing like the a lot of the efforts that are being used to even take them into consideration. Like my dog has depression, like what? Like, or it has some, joint pains or different.
Joint pain, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And oh yeah, Adelina was saying, yes, I do great massage for PTSD from starting Confo intake to enjoy a joint to listening to Sade. It's a whole
Exactly.
session. That is super
Oh,
awesome.
it is the whole session, definitely. There's a lot of reflection. We always tell people to do. One of the things we really like is like if you are gonna smoke it or whether however you decided to partake with cannabis, like write it down. You should really record your first time and or the reason why because especially when you're trying to destigmatize that, it has to first come from you. It's like honestly, why am I using it? So yeah, for pain, it's just one of the pluses.
Right. And so
But
speaking of that experience, so what was your first experience like um trying either CBD or cannabis or both? Um
yeah, I think probably for me, it would be when I was in Brazil
mm,
and I was an ESL teacher there, and the same. I mean, it was kind of not anything that I would have thought because of the way it was rolled. It looked more just like a regular cigarette, which a lot of people, roll that instead. So that's what I thought it was. And that kind of was my first mistake, which I always tell people double check, ask what is personal experience. But so, needless to say, I was like taken aback. I really didn't like it. And not that I didn't like that they were doing it, it was just like, to me, gross. And so, but I also never liked to smoke cigarettes. So I always associated it with that.
yeah.
Um, but then it wasn't later on till I was able to have it, consume it in like an edible. And then I definitely was able to feel it in a very different way, in a slower way, in a more controlled way. And somebody was able to, show me about that. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's like an ingredient, or it has more SPNOP, but I didn't really know what it had.
Right.
And yeah, that's how we was more, which is funny because now I've kind of gone back more to smoking.
Like smoking is like probably definitely my favorite way to consume CBD or cannabis in general. I think that but I do love a great edible. I really do. Some of the vendors I've had at the CBD Fair Market, Plentiful Sweets, Saint May, they
Yes,
it makes some of the like I'm just like I didn't even know you could even make this taste this good.
exactly. Yes, they are really good. I ordered a bunch of their a bunch of these conchas for all my friends. I was like, you're all gonna get these amazing packages. They're gonna be so amazing. Yeah, because it's true. I'm like, it's a different style, and I love that they're really considerate with everything from their packaging to their labeling. They're really sustainability is key to them. So it's
Oh
they're
yeah.
they're really fun people too. I love them.
Oh yeah, they're super fun. Like I like being able to hang. I remember it was the last CBD fair I did for 2019, and it was at Treasures event, and it's the pretty much like the last show of the year and everything like that. I remember we were packing up, and they gave me like this goodie bag full of like the brownies and I was just like, thank you, thank you so
Yes.
much. It's so delicious. But my first experience, so cannabis, let's see, I'll be 30 next year. So the first time that I did cannabis was actually in high school, but it was one time and I had didn't smoke it again till like way later as an adult because I think I was 16 and then my friends were just all like, "Hey, you want to try this?" And I was all like,
What
um
is
at that
sure?
point I didn't like smoke because I was at cross country and track, so I was just all like, well, like everyone is
Yeah.
just chilling. So I was like, I'll take a few puffs. They're like, you want to do a shotgun hit? And I was all like, yeah, sure. Little, and my friend was just all like, are you sure? Have you done the shotgun hit? But I was like, man, yeah, I got this. So I'm sitting up there and I take it, and there's levels. There was definitely levels. It was like excessive laughing. Like me and my homeboy looked at each other and we were just busting out laughing. And then my
You
friend,
rode the wave of all
it
the
was
emotions.
it was like a super like legit high, and then after that it was just like spiral because like my friend, his homegirl was, and she was trying to take me home, and then I was in the back seat and I was just completely done, and I like barfed all over her back seat, and she's like talking to my friend, she's like, come get your fucking friend, and she's like, are you okay? It's gonna be okay. He just threw up all over my stuff. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna take you back. And then like I get there, and then like
Oh
and
my
I'm
God.
laid out on their floor. Like they're like, is he alive? And I'm just sitting up there just like for 3 hours. I didn't even move. And then but CBD on but CBD on the other hand, I tried the first official. So I heard how it pretty much even got into CBD was I first heard about it in 2014 through the hip hop. Like I'm a hip hop artist, I'm a traveling hip hop artist, and so Ghostface Killer Wu Tang had dropped this uh, vape cartridge that had CBD in it called Woo Goo. And I was all like, what the heck is CBD? Like, this is back in 2014. And so, but it kept on popping up into my life until 20, I want to say the end of 2018, going into 2019, I actually tried. My old business partner, he had the flower, and I tried it in the pipe, and I was just like instantly brain fog,
Yes.
feeling in my chest was completely like instantly. And at this point, like I had stopped eating meat for like 3 years, so I could definitely tell when something different is going on in my body. And I was just all like, this makes me feel like this. And I was just saw like there's a bunch of artists and musicians and creators
Mhm.
that we know that we've lost due to many health reasons. Some of that
Yes.
being suicide, some of that being alcohol poisoning, and some all of those different things. And I was all like, for especially in the hip hop community, we lost a lot of people due
Yeah.
to health reasons. So I
Yep.
was like, let me, I want to be a part of this because I personally feel that it's amazing. So my first experience with CBD was just so amazing that I ended up creating all of this stuff from it. Like, so
Yes.
that's just like the
That's the type of passion that people don't understand is needed, also if you do want to succeed and be in this industry. Because yeah, I mean anybody can claim or buy or sell, but it's like it's really that experience, and if you don't understand it or have tried a product that is really a good product or really something that's, you know, that you're gonna feel it in a different way. You're like, oh, okay, I'm willing to put all my stuff on this. It's definitely different. But that's one thing we always tell everyone. It's like try to make sure that you keep an open mind in all of this. It may fit you, it may not, but you know what? At least you tried it. You can be like, that's it. Nobody told me how it was. I experienced something, and you know what? I had fun along the way, and I learned a couple things. So
right. Like
yeah,
just learning that the body has an endocannabinoid system. Like it's just like, wait a minute, there's weed inside of me. Like, like
yes. I mean, just the things that we say, like we'll ask some of them, before they come on the tour, we'll give them a little survey of, what do you know, just for fun, and then that also kind of gives us just an aspect of where to start, in our little lesson. But it is nice when somebody already knows because we can talk more about this. It's great, or we can talk more about the laws, logistics, and versus a lot of it is really just the bare minimum. Nobody knows that it's what hemp was, what cannabis was, how it was in our lives before, how it has been in our lives. And, you know, some people say like, oh, I've tried hemp seed oil. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not the same. You know, we have to really pay attention to the labels and, you know, understand just what to look for. Like, we're not telling you which product specifically is the best or what we think. Like, that's our opinion. But it's just kind of keep an open mind big time, because not everything is regulated or easily understood. Even though they might mean well, it's just not easily translated to
Oh
a
yeah,
consumer.
exactly. And there's actually this webinar that I was watching from Hemp Daily yesterday, and that was one of the guests' main thing was that, you know, he's just all like, I love the fact there's these indie, you know, businesses and everything like that. But there has to be, you know, regulation. This is stuff that people are ingesting. This is stuff that
Yes,
people are putting on their,
yes. I
you know.
mean, that really blows my mind too when we ask, you know, how many of you have tried CBD? And they're like, me. Like, everybody has. It's like, what is CBD? I have no idea. Why would you try something you don't know? And it's like, oh, well, my aunt, my mom, you know, I got it for free in this fair. Like, people were handing it out, and I'm like, oh, but still, like, it's like that whole candy in Halloween, you know? It's like, are you gonna really
Yeah.
take a candy that's like unwrapped and obviously manhandled, and you know, what is there? I don't know. Like, it's obviously not.
Right.
Yeah, it's just so interesting. And adults, you know, not children, adults.
Right. You know, and the what I love about CBD is the fact that the way I describe it to people is it's like, for me, the THC is like the right side of the brain, the CBD is like the left side of the brain. You know, like the THC is going to allow you to like completely be in this abstract world that I completely love, you know,
It's
but the CBD.
creativity, yeah.
Mhm. But the CBD allows for it to put those into action. You know, I actually feel like, you know what? I have this idea, but like, let's put it to paper. Let's put it to video. Let's, you know.
And you know what? That's a great analogy, because in the end, you know, we do have people that are right side dominant and that are left side dominant. You know, not everybody's going to interact with it better, just beauty choice, lifestyle, or everything. So yeah,
Exactly.
totally. I like that. I'm gonna
So
use that.
go for it. So let me Adelina was saying that a client of hers with extreme arthritis put them on the CBD. She said, I can't smoke, in her tiny Italian voice. I read a couple of labels, other brands, and said, I'm going to do this myself. Her cream, I make 900 milligrams. We have her walking from bed to my massage table now. So that's super. And I see different
Yeah.
things like that happen all the time, you know. So right now, what is your top three flower choices as far as with CBD or like a particular pre-roll strand? And what is your top two CBD products that you use right now, whether it be balms or teas or different things like that?
Yeah, probably I like a lot of lifter strains, you know,
Mhm.
and so with me, that's been one of the things that I've been learning recently, is that names really don't, it's hard because sometimes the same strain, you know, doesn't taste the same, doesn't feel
Yeah,
the
it
same.
doesn't hit hard.
And especially, you know, I know somebody said, you know, I have all, yes, I know, I feel differently. What do I do with this data? It's like, this is why you record things to say that. So with that, I'd probably say I like to, if I can, know the terpene profile.
Mhm.
And so I am definitely, you know, I like more one-to-one ratios. I do prefer more higher CBD content when it's during the day, when I know like I want to be more productive. But at the same time, I need to have those higher terpene levels with like limonene and, you know, trying to just be more lifting. But I don't really like to smoke to calm down. you
Yeah.
know, which is the opposite why some people always say that. And so I know before I said, you know, man, I would smoke for stress, you know, stress with work and everything. And I realized that yes, I would smoke after, but it was because I had more work to do. So I
Yeah.
would continue to do that, you know. And so sometimes whenever I wanted to smoke something and it made me sleepy, I was like, oh, I'm not buying from that person again, or I'm not getting that again, you know, without really knowing why or what it was.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, that's why, you know, when I say names, I'm like, it's kind of hard, but I do like to try. Like, for example, Restart, they have a really cool Restart CBD here in Austin. They have like a flower of the month, and they
Ooh.
always try to put two different strains, like a lifter and a more sativa one, you know, indica sativa, sorry. And so it's kind of that that I tell people, I'm like, well, it depends on what it has. So I look at the content. And then the other part are I really like the patches. That's actually
Mhm.
kind of the first thing that turned me more onto CBD. I was in New Orleans, and there I remember I tried for the first time a topical patch that I got to, you know, put on. It was my time of the month. I was just not having anything at all, and I usually get really bad and cranky at that time, like a lot of
Yeah.
us females do. And so I was just like, and I'm traveling, and I'm in this fun city too, you know. And I was like, so I did. I walked into Vure area. They have a CBD shop there down in New Orleans. Shout out to them. And the guy was just talking about how, you know, he was like, oh yeah, you know, these are really popular. You guys should try them. As a matter of fact, just kind of take it. And I took it as a sign even more. I was like, you know what? Yes, I'm definitely going to try it. So, you know, that's when that's one of the things that I have not stopped using. And that's been like over almost 2 years ago. And then the other thing is an energy powder that I really like from Joy Organic
Hmm.
that I like to put that in, but right after I go running
Yeah.
or right before anyways, you know, work out, kind of like a pre-drink, you know, workout stuff. So I do that, you know, kind of sticking again more with the edible side that I like doing that. But then I really like St. Maine. A lot of their little edibles are so good, and that's kind of just on a treat more than a medication type of more recreational.
Oh yeah, you know that is so I didn't even know that they made so the patch I've definitely heard but not I haven't really even seen too many brands per se, so I'd definitely like to try the patches. And with the any and I think that we see what I'm starting to see is like especially with the drinks, the powder drinks, that's like a culture in general when I think about like little little 16-ounce bottles or whatever, pouring it in there.
Yeah, that was so convenient. It's nice. It's you know, I can have it throughout the day. I need to drink some water. Yeah.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah. And so you've mentioned several different places here because I'm a traveler myself, so I definitely have to ask. I haven't done as much travel as I would like, but out of the places that you've traveled in the United States, and so what's your favorite place that you've traveled to in the United States and favorite place outside the United States?
Um. Hmm. Cannabis related or not?
It could be either
Because
or.
yeah. Uh, yeah. So I guess one of the really cool places, the recent ones that we went to was in Las Vegas. Even though I'm not a big gambler or uh, for Vegas, I still like to see the shows, and you know, it's just a fun city to hang around in. But they have one of the bigger conferences there too, and one of the places we got to visit was this dispensary called New Woo,
Mm,
and they had like a tasting room. So that was the first time that I had seen that, where you can walk in, you can order something like you'd go in a bar, you'd go to the front of the bar, you'd get the menu, you'd order your drink, and it would come in several forms. And then they'd give you enough for either you, your friends, how many were in your party. Um, yeah, you take that, you go to your table, you sit down, you have your water, and it's like a whole bar experience, but on the cannabis side. And so that's definitely been one of my favorite places here in the U.S. But I love Colorado. I love the state. I love to go camping a lot, and my husband and I just recently did that. Well, not recently, but I guess in October was it? Had done a big camping trip, but yeah, that's probably one of the places that I really like because I love nature. I like to go outside, but it's also a recreational state, which is a plus. So do that, and then probably the one place that I really like have been. I really liked going to Puerto Rico one time, mostly because I got to experience seeing a lot, kind of a different atmosphere, different climate. You get to see the forest, the rainforest, the jungle. It's very different. And then I forget the name of this one thing that happened. It's when we got to go through a tunnel, kayak, and the whole water is just glowing with all of the fish there, the type of fish that are in there. So it's an amazing view, but it's also a place where you could easily smoke as well. So it was a fun time.
Oh no, that's super amazing. And shout out to Adelina. I think she's gonna be in San Antonio this coming weekend. That's gonna be super amazing. And any vendor or business owner that's looking in, that's viewing this and you want to be a guest on the Texas CBD Fair Market, email me at goldendabtroll@gmail.com. That way we can get you on here. Shout out to Nathan. I think he's gonna send me some patches. He's got some
Ooh,
patches. So yes, so Regiment Wholesales, veteran owned. Shout out to him. So, and I've gotten
amazing.
some flour from him. So what I do is I have my whole brand, the Composition Wellness Solution. So what we're doing is working on blended pre-rolls as well as cigarettes,
Oh,
and
nice.
uh, pain rubs. So, the composition is a play on my hip hop name, it's the composition, but you also have the composition elements of nature and what things are composed of and different things like that. So it's like a play on all that to make these different
Nice.
products. So
That's
that is like
cool.
super awesome. And
Is
my
that going to
friend,
be online or
it's so right
online?
now we have the pre-rolls, and those are available through me. I have to put like an image thing and everything up. With the e-commerce, that's another thing that I want to be able to get more information on, is that how to properly label things. I know Nathan, he's has a good way of labeling it, so that way he's not getting flagged or anything by having stuff on the e-commerce and stuff like that. But yes, when that does come out, as far as I will send you a link, so that
Yeah,
way it'll let
definitely.
you. But
Good.
yes, like my friend, him and his wife go to Puerto Rico and they travel a lot, and he tells me all the time, like, yo, they have some fire stuff out here. And I'm just like, oh man, I definitely need to go out there. But the
No, I
the
think
one
it's
place that
true.
I had the one place that I had been to, that I really would love to bring CBD to, is Japan. So they have a big opioid crisis as far as out there, and so. But the thing is that they're so strict when it
They're
comes
very
to
strict.
hemp. Like it is.
Yeah, that's been one thing. Like, I watched the show Lost Ships Abroad. I don't know if a lot of people saw that show a while back, but that show definitely like set my guards up. And when I traveled, I refused to try to do anything where I was going to do something illegal because it really did. Like I was just so concerned. And yeah, I lived in South Korea for a year, and we went to Japan a couple of weekends for just for vacation. But it was both of those countries. No, you just don't do it, and it's strict policy. And I saw friends that did get arrested, and I was like, oh no, it still
Right.
was. So yeah,
It's like I don't want to even do it. Like
understand.
I was
Yeah,
there for 5 days, probably super sober.
yeah,
But they drink like a fish out there. They drink beer like crazy out there. Like big, large things that I've just saw. Like, what in the world? And then, oh yeah, shout out to Cody too. Out in Idaho, we're gonna have him as a guest with the Snake River Solace, and they're coming out with a patch next week. So
oh,
that is super cool.
nice. Yes, they should let us know or send some over. We'd love to see these. Yeah.
And so what's cool about them is they have the first CBD no THC company in his area. And so when I have him on there, I think we're gonna have him on at 4. So yes, congratulations to him. That is super amazing. And just I mean, with all of my guests, I could pretty much like we can go on forever. But what I wanted before I let you go, what I try to have everyone do, and Leo was able to do this last week, so that's why I didn't have them do it this week. But if you can leave just some words of guidance, advice for people during this time, whether business owners or teachers or anybody, just a few words of encouragement to help them through. And then where can we find you personally on social media?
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of been one of the struggles with everybody. Trying to keep a good spirit in the midst of all this mayhem. Whether it's a killer hornet, you know, or some, or I don't know, something's broken in my backyard. There's always something that's gonna happen, and that's what I try to tell people too. It's never gonna be a perfect time. It's never gonna be a perfect life. It's never gonna be a wait till all my ducks are lined up. It's not. It's never gonna happen. So if we keep waiting for that, I'm afraid that you're just gonna keep waiting for a long time. So just trying to keep that mentality of an initiative, and keep a little bit of the, hey, I know it's not perfect right now, but what can I do? What can I do at the moment? What can I manipulate to be able to help out not just myself as well, but my neighbor, my roommate, who's around you, because a lot of the people think that they have to do something extraordinary as well. It's like, oh, I have to help all mankind. It's like,
Yeah.
no, let's just start off by just helping our neighbor, each other. So it's just trying to keep it, in light that it's okay. It's not going to be the end, and hopefully we get to hug soon because I miss hugging.
Right, like I miss connection with people so much. Being a performer as well, I'm just all like, all right,
It's
first
exactly
thing
your
first,
feedback.
I need to be on the stage and I need to hug my friends. Like, like
Exactly. Yes, and like Trevor said, and annoy them until they hear us. Oh, trust me, we will annoy them.
oh
Yes.
yeah. And where can people find you personally on social media?
Yeah, on Facebook, on Instagram, or on LinkedIn. My name is just spelled differently. It's Cintia, Cynthia Morales, Morales, or
All right.
Hemptour. I'll be linked to that too.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Cynthia. So, you enjoy. It
Thanks
was a
for
pleasure
having
speaking
us.
with you. Yes, and enjoy your Saturday. You're outside. It's beautiful outside. I'm just
It's
all
a
like,
Saturday. I mean, it's an everyday Saturday. That's fine.
yes, yes. Well, Cynthia, you enjoy the rest of your Saturday and enjoy some
Thank
CBD.
you. For sure. Bye.
All
Bye,
right.
everyone.